Hello everyone, and welcome to the HRL Short Track Showdown. Week number 6, we're going to be kicking off this week with C6 Speedway, a hog terrain oval. So I had a few different options for this, made a few different tracks that we could run for hog terrain oval, and ended up going with this one. It's a pretty tough choice. I think they all had potential, but it's just like, I don't know, it's hard to gauge how well these race on the hogs compared to the gooses. Like, I feel like I have a much better idea. When I make one of these on the gooses, like how well it'll run, and then on the hogs, yeah, it's just kind of difficult. Like, you know, just not really sure until we race it. So previewed the other ones, and then ended up making this one as well, which was originally the plan. I was going to make 3. I eventually got around to this one, and I was like, ah, screw it. I think this one maybe will work the best. So we ran it going through the starting lineup here as well. But yeah, I don't know. It was a tough choice. Oh yeah, Biggie bagged it. It was a tough choice, but just ended up going with this one. Still, this one has a little more sauce on it than most of the terrain ovals. We have that 3 and 4 construction, so we go green here with those building blocks, but still pretty good. Good job, I think, making most of it terrain. But it's just tough to make these work with the hogs. We complete the first lap there. It's a 75 lap race on this one. It's gonna be 151 on the checkpoints. Pretty tricky tracks, so obviously the turns are very different. We might, I was going to say maybe have a caution. Pretty intense racing so far. But the turns are very different. 1 and 2 is obviously like all terrain. Has a pretty hefty bump on the inside. There's a pretty steep incline exiting it, and then you go downhill. Yeah, there's a lot of bump action on the straightaways on this one actually that you have to navigate. There we go. That'll be first caution for sure. But yeah, very different turns. 3 and 4, obviously, with the building blocks, you can hold it wide open a little bit more. Carry your momentum a little bit more about those through those turns. And then 1 and 2, obviously, you're gonna have to slow down for 1 and 2 generally, or if you're not slowing down, it's a bit risky. So, and we have Blake joining a little bit late here, 5 laps late. Come on, man. Come on, man. That was showing with the film in there. But yeah, I'll still get him in here. It's early enough in the race. Let's go green again. But yeah, the other tracks, I don't know. They had potential. A couple of them, I think what I'm going to do now that we've raced this track is rework them for gooses. Not that hog terrain oval is like bad or chalked or anything, but I do... It's really hard to make hog terrain oval work with the maps available. Like, I think if you actually... like made terrain, like chose one of the base canvases and just like made your own terrain and made a hog terrain oval, I bet it would maybe work pretty well. So we have another caution here. But yeah, obviously didn't do that for any of these. Tried my best to make it work. I had the idea, I thought about doing it and didn't end up getting around to it. Eventually I was just like, you know what? We did all the other goose terrain ovals like this on just like normal maps. I'm gonna try to make this work on a normal map. Sauce it up a little bit with those building blocks if I have to, but still want it to just be like on a normal map like they've all been. And yeah, it's just tough to work. That being said, could always try the other ones at some point, see if they end up working better. Not that this one was bad. Oh my god, send out a Vulcan there. Not that this one was bad, but I don't know. It's harder to make these work. Whereas like with the hogs on like normal ovals, I feel like it's pretty doable. I feel like you can make it work, and like the hog oval racing can work just as well as the goose racing. But yeah, when it comes to the terrain ovals though, I definitely think it's a little bit easier to cook one up for the gooses and have it work. So when we do the terrain oval season eventually, we'll probably focus on doing them, or I definitely will focus on doing them for gooses. Mostly, not saying that like a token hog terrain oval race is chalked, but definitely probably focus on the gooses for these. I will probably revisit that idea I mentioned though, of making like my own terrain canvas and then trying a hog terrain oval with that. I think that could work. I think that could work really well. So I'll definitely revisit that as well. 4 wide here. Holy. But that being said, like even though it's not perfect and is pretty cheesy type of racing, still some pretty good racing on this track. Like it's more Sanch gets pinched out there. It's more technical than it appears. Like again, the bumps are everywhere, not just in the turns but on the straights. So there's a lot of things that you have to navigate on this track. A lot of that terrain oval like character on it. Like there's a lot of stuff that on a normal oval you're just ripping down a straightaway. On this one you're thinking about like what the hell? There's a rock entering the outside. There's a big bump on the inside. I'm going over a freaking hill here. Like what do I do? So a lot of unique characteristics to this one. Still ends up putting on a pretty good show, I think. And you can also carry momentum really well around this track, and then even the outside, like the inside, you're going to have to use the inside to make passes, which isn't that surprising. I think we already have a caution here. Yep, dismount. And that's the thing too, like a lot of these drivers, I think, getting used to, this is a pretty tight track, and then, racing with the hogs too. So I think this race is like pretty caution heavy in the beginning. It does even out a little bit later on, gets a little bit better, but in the beginning, definitely a lot of caution action. And that's not too surprising, though, to have those growing pains with this. This is obviously very different than what we've been racing on the terrain ovals. And I mean, hell, even the Goose ones have a decent amount of cautions, too. So not that surprising. Go green again. But yeah, it actually, like, the momentum you can carry on the outside is a little bit underrated. Like, it's going to be hard to make passes. No surprise there. Easier to, like, steal that momentum and keep that going with the hogs because the hogs are so big. So you just always have like room to make that happen. But you can actually carry really good momentum around the outside, and you can. It's hard in these early laps because there keeps being like cautions. But if there's ever like a green flag run, I think you can really showcase like how much momentum you can carry with a line like that and protecting the inside a little bit less. Obviously, it's just hard to happen because we're just not having that green flag run here with how many cautions there are early on. But if it does happen, something that you could see. Go green again. Pretty good battles early on in these restarts, though. See people being very aggressive. It's a tough balance to find on this one. I think Blake flips over there. I think it was him. It's a tough balance to find on this one because, again, you got to send those inside moves, but if you send them a little too hard, well, that could happen. You get cheesed into a wall. Also, you get a little too much speed. You could potentially flip over or go too far. Like in 1 and 2, you saw it happen to Vulcan earlier where he did like a big send and he just like almost went outside the track. And then 3 and 4 as well. Like if you carry too much momentum on the inside of 3 and 4, there's a bit of an incline there. And you can get a little bit of tire lift and you can flip over there too. So it's a tough balance to find on this track. I don't know after this race if I really like the Hog TRS. I don't know if I like the Hog Terrain Oval as much. There's a lot of Hog Ovals that I thought were pretty fun when we were messing around with that. But again, like Terrain Oval wise, I don't know if I love it as much. But I gotta say, there's still some pretty good moments on this one. There's still some pretty good racing and good action. It's a good race to watch. And I think the track's pretty solid too. Like I'll have to try this one out with Gooses too. I want to all the Terrain Oval Hog tracks that I made. I want to try them with Gooses and see like, do I need to make adjustments? Could I leave them how they are? A couple of them I'm definitely going to translate to Gooses because I think they're just better for it anyways. Like I think one of them I think will stay a hog track. It's the one that circled around like one of the bases. If you guys remember that, if anybody was there for testing, like the one that circled around the bases, that one will definitely stay a hog track because the way that one's designed, it just makes sense. But the other ones I think work a little bit better for Gooses, so I'll probably mess around with that. Maybe mess with the bordering a little bit, test them out because I think there's some potential there. And obviously we're going to need more terrain ovals. Roman's been cooking a lot up. Opex has a lot that didn't make it into the season that if we did a terrain oval season, I'm sure 100% would make it in there. So there's a lot of choice, but there's still more that we could use. So if you have any ideas for, I know Slanch is cooking up. I saw he's cooking up one on the Discord too. To another caution here. But if you're gonna get inspired or have any ideas, definitely send on it. Even on Halo 4, like for example, I think this is Slanch going for a big move here. He's been doing a good job getting through the field, but they're just a little bit aggressive on the inside. And I mean, really, he just got locked up with Roman. It's just tough. Slanch is pretty fast on this track, though. We've seen he's gone back multiple times, but he ends up fighting for the lead every time. Like he somehow gets back up there. So he's been pretty strong so far this race. But now it's Camby and Luke, I think, battling for the lead right now. With that incident with Roman and Slanch happening. It was Hunter and Soul leading a lot of the early portion of this race, I think. And then, yeah, there's just a little bit of a transition. Roman started to have some good laps, and then Solange went for that move, and now it's transitioned a bit. Now it's Camby and Luke up front, I believe. That's going to be a caution there for sure. Dismount. But yeah, like I said, if you have any ideas... Oh, there you go. There's an example. Luke having it there. You got to be careful in that 3 and 4. Sending it on the inside can get that lift and can flip there. Yeah, even on Halo 4, like, for example, I think the best stuff that we've raced so far is either H2A or Reach, for different reasons, but both those games and the train ovals I think have been really fun. I still think Halo 4 has a lot of potential though, even though the goose physics of Halo 4 I think don't work as well for train oval. I still think there's a lot of maps. There's a lot of maps on Halo 4. So like naturally, there's a lot of train oval potential. There's a lot of weird layouts you could probably do. So that game, I think, they had a lot of like BTB expansion type stuff with Halo 4 too. So obviously, like all those maps have train oval potential. So even like that game, there's a lot that you could work with. And even on H2A, like, yeah, there's only so many layouts on the small map pool of H2A, but like I came up with 3 or 4 different hog layouts just on this map alone. So it's definitely a lot of potential there that we could still do. Eventually, oh my god, eventually we'll get to the point where, yeah, it'll probably be like make our own terrain canvases and mess with that. But right now I do think it's better within the spirit of like this type of racing to try to make it work on, make it like TRS, but for ovals essentially, like try to work with the base maps the best that we can. It was a race to the line there. Unless there was no caution. I mean, it kind of seemed like caution to me. No, maybe not. But yeah, so it's been fun. It's been fun, and this is a crucial train oval race too. We've only got 2 left after this, remaining in the schedule next week. We have Paralis. That's a triangle Pocono-ish type one, made by Roman. So we'll check that one out, and then we've got Autodome as well, classic, in the grand final. So definitely have those 2 coming up. Two Reach ones to end out the train oval season. And like I said, it's been a lot of fun. Like there's been all the different types of racing have been fun in this series, but I'm definitely keep cooking up those train ovals and keep working on that stuff because I'm really looking forward to that series when we eventually get around to it. I think it's one to look forward to for sure. The points battles in that one are like guaranteed to be crazy, I think. I think they're guaranteed to be crazy. And then, yeah, like the particular races too, I think it's going to be awesome. Getting closer to the end of this race, but still ways to go. Let's go green here. Was it Sol and Roman? Yeah, Sol and Roman. On that restart, Sol around the outside. It's like Roman on the inside, 3 wide behind them. Yeah, it's fun stuff. And, like I said, I keep encouraging... Just, if you got ideas, cook them up, because we'll definitely... I don't know if it's going to be the next series, but the Train Oval series will definitely be coming soon. And want to have as much choice there as possible. And just the variety is good. I like the variety that we've already had. Like I said, there's a lot of Train Ovals made. There was a lot that didn't make the season, because there was just so many made in general. Like, there's just too many. Could have made up like half the damn schedule just off Train Ovals. But obviously, when we get around to that series, a lot of those tracks that didn't make it will, find slots and just get worked in there. So it'll be fun stuff. Wow. That was a move, that crossover. DTL gets pinched out of that one, but that would have been sick if they kept that going. He's getting spicy in the championship for this one, too. And we'll get around to it at the end of the night. When this night is over, because we're getting into crunch time for this season. There's only 2 weeks remaining after this night. Only 2 weeks remaining. Solange making a big move for the lead here. And like I said, he keeps like wrecking and going to the back, but he finds his way back towards the front. And this time he makes the aggressive move on Roman right before the caution, pulls it off without getting locked up like last time, takes the lead. A big move from Solange. He's got some speed on this track. He's got some momentum on his side too. He got his first win of the season on a terrain oval, actually. The last one that we raced, the one Halo 4 one on the schedule, He won that. And here he is looking pretty strong on this one, but there's still a lot of time remaining in the race. He's got some pretty good contenders behind him, too. I just think it's going to be tough for them because Slaunch's pace looks really good. And I think a lot of those guys are going to be vying for position behind him. So as long as Slaunch can get good restarts, he's going to be in a solid position here, I think. Because, yeah, you see, like, it's going to be tough for the guys in second and third. Like, if they can't get a run on Slaunch early, he has good enough pace to where they're going to battle really hard behind him. And it seems like he's going to pull away a little bit. Like, it's hard to judge the individual pace between drivers on this track because, again, there's so little clean air time. But Slaunch's clean air time does look really good. But yeah, it's hard to judge because most drivers, a lot of drivers probably did not have clean air like a single time in this race. That's just the way that it worked out, you know? All right, there we go. Yeah, so going into crunch time, like 15 or so laps remaining. Not a whole lot of time left. Getting to that point where, depending on when that last caution comes out, could be the end of the race. It's always something to think about with the new caution rules, green flag. It's Slaunch and Soul this time. Soul doing a good job keeping it close on the outside, but yeah, Slaunch just like... Okay, well, that's going to be a caution. But Slaunch is just doing a great job with this pace, and Soul had a nice line in 1 and 2 right there to try to get back to his inside, but he just didn't quite have enough momentum. I have to go back and rewatch that if you didn't see it. It was a nice idea that he had. Tried to make it work, but it just quite wasn't there. Like, maybe if he was a little bit closer going into the turn, it could have worked. No caution? Maybe no caution. Kind of surprised. That looked like a caution. Stop it now? No. Okay, I guess we're going green. I thought that looked like a caution for sure. Maybe everybody was just tired of it, the cautions. Maybe the guys that wrecked were like, nah, man, keep going. Okay, there we go. Sometimes that can happen. All right, green flag. About like 10-ish laps to go, I believe. And again, like, I think they're going to have to fight with Slaunch really early in one of these restarts, but again, he just has a really good restart. He's pulled a hog length already. That's going to be a caution, so they'll get another chance. Couple flips there, so definitely going to be another caution, but yeah, so they'll get another chance, but he's just, I don't know, man. Finally, he was able to work his way to the front, and it looks like when he's in the front, it's hard to get to him on these restarts. So somebody behind is going to have to pull off like a really... Like, realistically, it's whoever's in third is going to have to pull off a really good restart, I think, to contend with this win. Because whoever's on the outside is probably not going to have a chance at winning. Like, maybe they could get a top 3, but they're probably not going to win. So, yeah, it's really up to, like, third place to make something happen, I think, on the restart. You see the wreck back there with detail, and then here we're looking at... That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. For Soul, too. Yeah, tough scenes for both of them. Re-rack them and get another restart in here. All right. There we go. Crunch time. Camby has worked his way to the outside. I don't know where Camby came from. Green flag. Again, it's up to that driver in third, and it was Blake that time, and he does get a little bit of a drive. And he's just got like a slight look, but just not quite able to get there. Almost. But now he's in a tough position because now you've got all these drivers behind him, and it's like you want to keep attacking Slaunch, but you have a good finish as well. So like, what do? You know, do you really send it to try to get to Slaunch, or do you just try to? Well, now he's definitely looks like he's going defensive. It's got a lot of drivers close behind trying to make something happen. Oh, big wreck. Big wreck. And what lap are we on? That'll be a caution for sure. It's Hunter and Coop. Could that be the race? And look at that. Look at that caution timing. It is going to be the race. We hit the race to the line there. We stopped at the restart. It'd be 1 to go. So yeah, that's going to be it. It's going to end under a yellow checkered flag. Unfortunate caution timing for some of these drivers, but for Slaunch... Sure he's not too upset with it. That's going to lock in the dub for him. I was taking a look at a replay here. See what happened in this last crash. Yeah, congrats to Slanch on the win. I mean, just was able to... It was crazy. I feel like a lot of people struggled to get by people on this track and make passes, but he went to the back multiple times and got back up to the front multiple times. Like, it was a really hard earned to win. Definitely had some good pace on this one. And interestingly enough, it's 2 terrain oval wins in a row for him. Becomes the first driver on the season to win 2 terrain ovals as well. So that's an interesting stat there as well. Like, there's multiple winners on all the other track types. There's drivers that have won multiple times, except for terrain oval until now. Slanch has won multiple times, 2 races, the last 2 races that we've done on terrain ovals. So interesting. Like, he had a really rough start on these tracks, but now 2 wins in a row, picking up some good momentum, and he's got 2 of these left in the season, one of them in the grand final. So pretty good time to pick up some momentum on this type of racing. That being said, the thing that's not working in his favor is this was a one-off weird, like, you know, hog terrain oval race. Blake got the photo finish with Roman here. And then Halo 4 as well. Like, those are both kind of one-offs, and those are the ones that he won. We're going back to Reach. The last 2 are Reach. A lot of them were Reach in the season. I think Reach works pretty well, like I said, for this type of racing, so not too surprising that a lot of them were Reach. Oh yeah, we had the Halo 3 one as well. But yeah, so like Reach is the one, everything else is like a one-off, right? The only thing that had multiple races of for Terrain Oval in the season was Reach, and that's what we're going back to. So that's the only thing that doesn't work in Slanch's favor, is he still has to figure out the Reach side of things. But that being said, I mean, just getting 2 wins in a row, getting that momentum on this type of racing is obviously like really good and gonna help him out going forward. But there you go. Slanch taking the W, Blake, Roman rounding out the podium. Big performances for those guys. Big start for them on the night. They're all gonna be in good overall contention. Hope you guys enjoyed the race. See you in the next one.